Before you hire your next Shopify developer, you need to watch this video. Most founders get fooled by the same signals. They judge the wrong things. They trust the wrong indicators. And the scary part is that the red flags only become obvious after you've paid. If you don't know what to look for before you commit, you're leaving yourself open to being burned. In this video, I'm going to break down how you should qualify developers, what should you be looking for, and crucial mistakes that you should avoid. Real quick, before we dive into exactly what signals you should be looking for, I want to tell you about our free Black Friday audits. If you have a Shopify store and you want an outside pair of eyes to take a look before the rush hits, this is for you. We look at your store speed, user experience, friction points, and opportunities to make more revenue from the traffic that you have. This audit is completely free and we're doing it for a limited time only before Black Friday gets here. If you want one, you can use the link in the description to book your free audit with Futuremerce. Then come back to this video and learn how you can safely hire developers. Alright, let's get into it. The biggest mistake people make when hiring developers is they start by comparing price. Hiring based on price is a very dangerous idea. In the long run, cheap developers will not save you money. You'll often spend hours reworking what they've done or hiring other developers to fix their mistakes. They often deliver low quality code that isn't optimized and is hurting your store. Some developers will even create sections for your store without the content being editable. So then you end up going back and forth with them just so you can make a simple change to your store. Price is obviously an important factor, but you do not want to go with the cheapest. Genuinely, there's 3 different tiers of pricing when it comes to hiring Shopify developers. There's the absolute budget tier. These are the sort of developers that you find on platforms like Fiverr who can be charging as little as $10 an hour to make changes on your store. Next up from there, you have the traditional freelancers and smaller agencies. This price point will generally be starting from around $40 an hour, and that's where you generally get the best bang for your buck. The last tier are your high-end agencies. These will often charge you hundreds of dollars per hour, but they will deliver you quality work. Depending on your budget and how large your store is, you may want to consider either going with the quality developers or going with the high-end agencies. As with most things in life, you get what you pay for. So be careful which tier you choose. Next up, let's talk about what you should be looking for in their portfolio. First up, if they don't have any form of portfolio at all, I wouldn't hire them. There's no proof that they actually know what they're doing. You're going to want to look for live store links in their portfolio. This way you can actually use the store, check for bugs, and check the quality of their work. While doing this, you can also ask them to talk about their project. That way you can see if they truly care about their clients and actually paid attention to the small details. You can also see whether their design or development choices align with what you're looking for your brand. This is very important. For instance, if you were to ask me about some of our projects, I'd be able to explain all the different choices we made and why we made them. It's important for a Shopify developer to be able to explain why they're doing things a certain way. They need to be able to see the big picture and how a small change on your store can have a huge impact on your whole brand. That's the sort of developer that you want to hire. Next, let's talk about how you can test the developer without paying in full. I recommend you start with a small paid task. This can be editing a simple section, perhaps redesigning a certain area of your store. Keep the scope tiny for this piece of work. A fast quality test like this will reveal a lot about the developer, and firsthand you'll get to see what it's like working with the developer and the quality of work that you're going to get. This is also an excellent way to test the communication. You can see how fast they reply, do they ask you questions, and do they properly understand the scope of what you're asking for. While doing this, you obviously won't be able to review how good their code is if you don't have a technical background. But you will be able to see the result of this on your store, whether it's buggy and glitchy or whether it works perfectly for you and your customers. On the topic of code, another important thing is whether your developer should be using AI or not. There's obviously a lot of debate about this topic. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter if a developer uses AI tools to produce the code or writes it himself. All that matters is that he takes responsibility for the code, and more importantly, for the quality of the result. Sometimes using AI can definitely speed up the process, so don't completely rule a developer out just because they use an AI tool. Next up, let's talk about how you should be structuring your payments. Never make a full payment upfront, especially not for a whole store build. Ideally, you want to use milestones that are predetermined by you and your developer. This could be things like certain pages completed, or perhaps 50% upfront and then the remainder once everything's completed. You gotta look at it from both your perspective and from the developer's perspective. Obviously, you wouldn't want to pay that much upfront, But if you don't pay anything, it's very risky from a developer's point of view to spend hours working on it with no guarantee of payment. Structuring payments based on milestones is also great because you can schedule video calls around these milestones so you can get a better insight into what's happening with your project, rather than waiting months to hear back and the stage is nowhere near what you were expecting. Doing this will also allow you to bring up feedback about what the developer's building as they're going through it, which is much better than giving a large amount of feedback right at the end and them having to rework a bunch of different stuff. Payment becomes a lot less stressful when you apply the other advice from this video so you know you're working with a good developer. And how you structure payments will definitely vary quite a bit depending on whether you're doing a whole store build or whether the developer is just actioning different changes on your store. When working with developers for new store builds, you'll generally start off with a rough estimation. This will be the development team roughly estimating how long they think it will take to work on your project. This will get narrowed down and get much more specific as you go through consultations with the team. That way they better understand your vision and what you're looking for your store. Before you sign a final contract though, you do want to make sure that you've confirmed the hours and the amount you're spending with the developer. This will prevent any late surprises. For instance, at my agency, before anyone touches any piece of work, we've clearly discussed how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost, and when you can expect to have it done by. Lastly, before we wrap this video up, let's talk about some red flags you want to look for. First up is guaranteed results. A lot of the time you'll see agencies who guarantee these crazy results that sound too good to be true. And if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Most quality agencies will not be able to fully guarantee very specific outcomes. That's because there's a lot of variability in these sorts of things, as I'm sure you're aware. The next red flag you're going to want to look for are developers who claim they can do anything and everything. The truth is, a lot of the time there's technical limitations. Sometimes there's workarounds, but it's also important for a developer to realize that only so much can be done. And the last red flag you want to look for are developers and agencies who try to rush you. These are people you don't want to work with. Generally, you want to be able to take your time and align your pacing with the developer's pacing. Oftentimes when someone's trying to rush you, especially in assigning a contract, it's not a good deal for you. So to wrap up, when hiring a Shopify developer, remember to check their portfolio thoroughly, give them a small test project first, watch how they communicate, structure your payments with milestones, and always look out for the red flags that we talked about. If you're actively looking for a Shopify developer and want to work with a team that actually understands CRO and clean development, you can work with us. You can book a free consultation using the link below. And if you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe for more Shopify advice. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.